What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to be changing a bearing hub assembly on a 2007 Chevy Tahoe, so let's get to it. I saw a bunch of different ways of people trying to get the axle nut off. Some were waiting till the wheel was off and then trying to secure the disc and trying to break it loose that way. I figure the best way to do it would be to leave the wheel on the ground while it's still, tight, and use the breaker bar and a 36mm socket to break it loose. That way, once I get everything off and up, it'll already be loose and I can just take it off. So now that the wheel is off and I have the axle nut already loose, we just need to start taking off some of the caliper brackets and loosening up some of the bolts in the back. If you want, you can take off the caliper, or you can take off the whole caliper bracket, which is this screw here, and then the one you see right down at the bottom down there. That should take off the whole caliper bracket and assembly altogether. And then after that, there's going to be some bolts in the back here. Should be 3 of them. 1, 2, and then there should be another one, 3, that we have to take off to get the bearing hub out. Once we get to that point, I'll continue the video. So as you can see, I chose to take the 2 bolts out that held the whole caliper assembly and bracket together. That way it can give me just those 2 bolts, took everything off. So now that I have a little bit more clearance, I can reach the bolts in the back here. Those 2 bolts that were holding the caliper bracket was, let's see, 18mm, and the bolts that are in the back that hold the wheel hub together, those 3 are 15mm. Up front here on the disc, you'll see that there's a little bolt here with a T. Well, not a T, a star. That one, I think, is the one that I used was a T27. I probably could have used one bigger. I didn't have one. All I had was a 27. So probably like a 28 maybe will fit that. And that way you can unscrew that. That way the disc will come off. As you can see, we have the disc off now. You can see I have the axle nut off, and I lucked out because I saw on some of the YouTube videos that this axle nut and stuff can get frozen together with rust. But as soon as I took my nut off, I realized that mine was already free and can move inside. This helps also with the bolt removal in the back. Sometimes you can't get a good socket in on those bolts, so you have to like push this in just to get a better angle on those bolts. So maybe if you're having an issue, once you get this bolt off, knock it loose. That way you can get better access to those bolts. You can just push it back to get to those bolts in the back. Everything went well. All the bolts and stuff came out with no problem until I got to the point where I was trying to take out the actual hub assembly. It was rusted in there pretty good. I had to soak it down with some oil and bang on it for quite some time. I used this tool here. It's a ball joint separator, but it worked pretty good on getting in between there and knocking it loose. As you can see, it's out now, so I'm just going to disconnect the cable and clean out the hole, try to get some of the rust out of the hole, and we will start inserting the new hub assembly. Got all the rust out and cleaned up. All the contact areas cleaned. As you can see, I have some anti-seize that I rubbed in there. I doubt in the future that I'm going to be changing it. It's a 2007, so I doubt if I'm going to be changing it again, but I'll put some anti-seize on it just in case I need to disassemble it again, I guess sometime in the near future. So far so good. The wheel hub has been installed. The 3 bolts in the back have been tightened. I already reconnected the cable to it. So from this point, it's just reversing everything else, putting the brake disc back on, putting the caliper for the brakes back on the disc, tightening everything down, and everything should be complete. Okay, everything's back together again. Everything's nice and tight. One thing left to do is put the wheel back on and torque the hub nut there, axle nut or whatever you want to call it. According to the internet, it says 177 foot-pounds. So somewhere around in there, 150, 160. I've heard on YouTube, so we'll get it in the area. The aftermath. I use all the tools in my arsenal. After a quick test drive, everything sounded right, nice and quiet. So I would say about maybe a good 2 hours for some. You can get the hub changed and put a new one in. For some might be more lucky, they can get their hubs out nice and quick. It might only take them about an hour. Thank you YouTubers for viewing this video. Subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you next time.